Hey everyone, John Popola here. Today is usually a podcast day where we release a new conversation, a long-form episode of Dad Saves America. But it is Thursday, September 11th, and yesterday, Charlie Kirk, as we all know now, was shot dead on campus, doing what he has been doing for a decade, engaging in civil discourse, in debate. Something that I am deeply passionate about, something that, frankly, he was a trailblazer on. He brought his message to college students and college campuses as someone who did not go to college and who was a self-taught political voice, an outspoken Christian, a family man, a father, an advocate for the family, an advocate for fatherhood, for having kids, for embracing the heroic role of being a householder and someone who I didn't agree with on everything, but is part of a movement that I consider myself to be a part of, a conservative, freedom, American-oriented movement, a movement that fundamentally, broadly shares a belief that this is a good country. And wherever you sit on the political spectrum, I think if you believe in the American project, then you must accept that what Charlie Kirk was doing was part of that project. He was being persuasive. He was making his case to the public and frankly, doing it in a way that was desperately needed and is desperately needed. Doing it in person, not just this, but in person, face to face with real people. And by and large, treating them with humanity and respect. And for that, he is a hero. Because this is a hard thing for all of us to do. And for him to be taken from this world and from his family in this way is hard to grapple with. So I didn't know Charlie personally, but we've run in very similar circles. And so my heart just goes out to his family, and instead of doing what we normally do, I just want to take this moment to celebrate his efforts and to pull together some of the clips of him doing what he did best. Because if the world was filled with Charlie Kirks in terms of the way he conducted discourse, frankly, I do think we'd actually be in a much better place than we are now. And the one good thing about this world we're in at this moment is his voice actually continues to live on. It'll live on forever through the legacy of content he created and through the millions of students that he's reached, especially young men who are in desperate need of a healthy voice, a voice that's actually quite moderate. Because Charlie, at the end of the day, was, broadly speaking, as far as the range of potential voices out there, was a pretty moderate voice. It's a very, like a conservative Republican, yes. A conservative Christian, yes. That's in bounds, folks. That's in bounds. And that's what he was. And that he was portrayed ever as something more extreme than that, more scary than that, more dangerous than that, is something that I'm grappling with how to respond to. And I'm going to have more to say about that later. But for now, I think we should celebrate someone who engaged in the arena and did so with a lot of courage. And the person, the people, the forces, whatever they are, that took him down, that was not an act of courage. That was an act of savage barbarism and an assault on not just Charlie, not just conservatives, not just Christians. It was an assault on our civilization, on the founding principles of our civilization, on the mechanism by which we, as the West, believe we make progress. That is what that is. And we can't stand for that. And I don't stand for that. And I won't abide by that. So if you've got kids who looked up to Charlie, just give them a hug. Let them know that they are still fundamentally safe, I think. Because this is the thing, right? When these things happen, they hit us hard. And let them know that he wouldn't want you to get scared, to speak up. That is not what he would want. That is not what we should want for our kids or ourselves. Because frankly, it's scary. It's scary to put your voice out there in the world and watch someone who is doing it well and doing it in fair play take a bullet. I'll have more to say about this later. I'm still processing it, I think, like everyone is. But here's just some of Charlie in action in memorial to his work. And may God have mercy on his soul and bring peace to his family and friends and loved ones who are grappling with this horrible loss.
Who are you?
My name is Charlie Kirk, and I love America.
Yeah.
Because I love talking with people I disagree with. Started an organization that's now on 1,000+ campuses to save the greatest culture and country ever to exist.
Is it necessary?
Well, considering I've been assaulted, followed, stalked, and had things thrown at me, the greatest protection I have is cameras. We record all of it so that we put on the internet so people can see these ideas collide. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. That's when civil war happens. Because you start to think the other side is so evil and they lose their humanity. Marriages break apart when you stop talking. Churches fall apart. And I think what makes this country on the verge of going to a place we don't want it to go right now is we're afraid to go to places like this and have these conversations. I'm not.
You create a company that's like close to being a fascist, and then
Okay. How am I?
Sorry.
Let's go through this. How am I a fascist?
No, dude. Like
Can you name one thing I believe that's fascist?
you believe that you on. Oh, shit.
Don't boo him. Let him think.
But
I'm such a bad fascist. I let the people who disagree in open mic to talk to me for 2 hours uninterrupted.
Okay.
I'm an awful fascist. I'm more like a free speech liberal of the 1970s, not a fascist.
But I just want to say, Turning Point USA is a evil company that was funded by thousands of fracking companies, and that just.
No, it's not thousands, but we do have some frackers that give us money. But
Yeah, and then all it is making the rich
from
more rich.
fascism to fracking.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
Okay, again, I'm happy to have a debate. I can see you're getting kind of fired up.
I'm sorry.
But why are we evil? Like, we're having a nice discussion.
Because
all of a sudden you're calling me like
because
a
it
fascist.
seems like you just want the rich get even more rich. Like
we haven't talked about the rich at all. I mean, so you don't even know my positions on this stuff. What's your name?
None of your business, unfortunately, but
Okay, hello, nice to meet you. None of your business.
thank you. I appreciate it. So, do you love America?
Yes, I do.
I hate America. Every state in the USA should be an independent country. What do you think of this?
Stop the mic, dude.
Well, I just first have to ask, since you hate the country, do you plan to leave?
What do you mean by that?
Do you plan to go live in another country?
No, I do not.
Let me tell you something.
Your face is an idiot.
America is the only country where even those who hate it refuse to leave. That's how you know you live in a great country.
I just wanted to ask you, what do you say to those that are against homeschooling?
Well, they can apply for a job from you in 10 years from now. So
That's awesome.
you're going to be more polite, smarter, wiser, happier, more direction, more purpose, less corrupted, more understanding, more battle ready, better prepared, less confused, more biblical, more grounded, more Christ-like. If you are homeschool your kids, if you can, homeschool your kids. If they're scorning you or they're saying bad things to you, blessed are you who are persecuted in my name, it says James 1:5. So I'm a big fan of homeschooling. By the way, it used to be, homeschool kids were quote unquote weird. No. The homeschool kids are wise. The homeschool kids they're going to be the ones that are going to be running society. My money's on the homeschool kids more so than anybody else. God bless you. Stay strong. Thank you.
You don't drink?
No.
Or smoke pot?
No.
And you're married and super Christian. We're going to get along great.
This is going to just be perfect. And we did get along great.
I think a lot of people, both men and women, they're kind of frustrated with the current dating landscape. Do you have any thoughts on this? What's your diagnosis and any solutions? And we'll open it up.
Sure. Yeah. I think people need to date with the intent to marry. Yeah. I'm a big critic of hookup culture in its current form. I believe sex should be sacred and is sacred. And it's really thrown away way too generously in this society and culture. And I can tell you, I'm super blessed. I have the best wife in the world. We have an amazing life. Building a family is the coolest thing ever. And my prayer for all of you is that you one day can do that.
That's so cute.
It's honestly the most joyful thing. And I've had some pretty amazing experiences. I've been very, very blessed, very lucky, you could say, but very blessed is the word I would use. And the greatest joy I've ever had is coming home to my little daughter running up to my leg. There's nothing that even comes close to it. Not flying on Air Force One, not meeting with presidents. That pales in comparison to your little girl coming up and squeezing your leg.
I love you.
I love you too. Gigi, you don't just get to get everything you want. Okay. Well, you have to be on very good behavior to get such a thing like this. Okay? Hold on. You have to behave well.
Did you earn it?
I know, but what did you do for it? Have you been a good girl? Okay, I'll get it for you.
You said something like, I hope all of you can experience that. And I mean, I don't disagree with that. I hope we can all experience joy in life like that. That's amazing. But I just feel like, I don't know why you said it that way. Like maybe we're not going to experience that because we don't have the same values as you.
Is that what he said?
From that.
I thought it was.
I don't think that's what,
I don't know.
that's not the impression I got, but I'll if Charlie wants to
Well,
answer.
if I said it that way, I didn't mean it that way. Maybe you can tell me more about your line of work.
What would you like to know?
Do you think that it's going to create a good, happy family in the future?
Right now I'm working on it. Yeah, me
That's
and
good.
my boyfriend are doing really well in our relationship. And honestly, I think contrary to what most people would believe, I think being in porn has strengthened us.
Why is that? I've never heard that.
Yeah.
What can you tell me why?
So basically, like having sort of like this open type of relationship where you can have sex with other people. Obviously, there are certain boundaries in the relationship, but it really makes you think about, what's important, why you love this person, and, you start to really hold things true that are deeper than just sex. And I think that on top of that, you can share sex with other people together, and that's really bonding. That's really fun.
Are you ever worried that do you ever get jealous of him if he has sex with other people?
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
So how does that strengthen your relationship?
Because we're able to talk about it. And I think every time that I bring up a concern and he's able to soothe it and we're really able to like work on that bond, it just makes it stronger.
So it's a purely physical experience.
Yeah.
See, for me, sex is more than physical. That's the least part of sex for me because I get to share it with my soulmate. It's my best friend.
It's definitely a big energy exchange.
It's a big energy exchange. And so, Molly, I would ask respectfully, wouldn't you want to only share that energy exchange with the person that you love most and want to have children with?
I think sex can exchange different types of energies. So like you can exchange an intimate type of energy, or you can exchange a really passionate, like horny type of energy. You can exchange dull energy during sex. You can exchange manipulative energy during sex.
If you could be with your boyfriend currently, and I waved a magic wand and I said you can make $1 million a year and never do porn again, would you?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Period.
The thing is, I wouldn't have to do it. That would be great, but I would still want to do it. I mean, personally, like, I'm an exhibitionist. I love, like, putting my sexual self out there for other people to see, for other people to, like, you know, touch themselves to, have fun with.
Can I ask you a question? Since you're about presenting yourself to the world, do you have a good relationship with your father?
Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
No, I don't talk to him.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for a respectful conversation, even though we see things very differently. If you're engaged in the creation of that content, I think God has a better plan for you. I know that might sound preachy and not what you want to hear, but just maybe you'll have an encounter with God, and Jesus loves all of you, and he can transform your life. He transformed my life. I've had a lot of problems in my life, a lot of problems, and Jesus solves everything. And every day is a new day, and it's a hopeful, beautiful life ahead of you. And I know that might not be something you even believe, and you might think that all Christians hate you and your way of life and all those sorts of things.
Most of them do.
Well, I'll say this. I'm a pretty firm believing, outspoken Christian, and God loves every single one of us. We're all sinners.
I mean, you've definitely been the most respectful one that I've seen.
Well, thank you. That's very, very kind. And I can tell you, it's not me. If it was me, I'd be yelling and screaming. It's the Holy Spirit.
Trying to put my son to bed. He's like, no, Dad, what time? What time's Charlie going to be here? What time? And I'm like, dude, you're in school tomorrow. He's 13. He's like, no. This morning, wakes up at 6 something. He's like, I'm coming. I'm like, he literally would not leave the house.
Did you let him take off school?
No, he did. Of course not. He's not here for a good reason. But the point is
you canceled school for like 2 years. One day.
The point is the point, which is you are making a damn dent.
Thank you. I'm kidding.
But I appreciate that. I mean, it's the reason you're here, because I think people need to understand your success, your influence.
Fox News decides Donald Trump is president of the United States. We've got our republic back, folks.
Let's go. There it is. And if anyone deserves to get tears in his eyes, it's Charlie. I think we all agree.
I think Erica was chopping his onions or something in the break room.
No one has worked harder than Charlie for this.
We got to hear some words here from you, Charlie. You put all this together, my man.
It's just, I am just humbled by God. It's all God.
I'm not necessarily saying like it's mainly to prevent, future shootings and things like that. And also, putting in place things like a federal registry so that we know, the types of guns that people have. And, it would just essentially be a federal registry that shows these are the guns that this person has, in case a cop has to go on something like a domestic call. That's the most dangerous call they can go on. So.
Yeah, I could see you're coming after this from a good perspective. Let me ask one other question. What would you say is the ultimate and final purpose of the Second Amendment?
I think it's self-defense against a tyrannical government, which
we agree. Sure, great. Keep going.
Well, but I think within the Second Amendment, it also implies that we have high regulations in the first 4 words.
Sort of.
Of it.
Well-regulated militia actually meant well-armed, but that's a separate issue. But
how do you know? You're interpreting what the Founding Fathers.
Well, they said it in the Federalist Papers, right? So it's not just me, but also in the Heller decision, in the 5-4 decision, that said that gun ownership was a right. This was a hotly debated thing.
But do you disagree? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Do you disagree with the idea of like a federal registry like that?
Oh, without a doubt. The only reason you'd want to register the guns is if you want to confiscate them.
Well, or to make sure that people like officers of the law are protected and know what they're going into. I mean,
that's a good argument.
Right.
To your credit, I will try to make a better argument where the problem of the government knowing where every gun is would then lead itself towards mass confiscation. And I would agree with you, a well-armed citizenry is the greatest protectorate of liberty and freedom in this country.
Even though the Army has things like drones and tanks and things like that outarm, citizens that have
yes and no. I mean, we've seen it in several instances where at least a citizen, that's a good argument, but I would say a little flawed, where the citizens are able to protect themselves in some ways. It's a much harder population to control.
I understand, but so you think a federal registry would infringe on the rights?
Potentially. I mean, I think that there's no good argument, other than potential. I ascribe to the government bad motives and bad intentions when it wants to infringe more on these types of freedoms and liberties. My worldview comes out of one in the 20th century, where almost every totalitarian government went after the guns first, and the confiscation of guns then leads into the erosion of freedom and liberty.
Right, but wouldn't you say in the 20th century, as you just said, that the disparity between the technology that citizens had to protect themselves compared to what the military had, wouldn't you say that there was a much smaller disparity as opposed to what we see nowadays?
Somewhat. I think that's a fair point. Donald Trump is not a fascist. Let me ask you a question. Do fascists protect freedom of speech?
No, and he hasn't.
Well, hold on. No, he actually has to such a great extent where he says colleges are not getting money if they don't protect freedom of speech. He's defunding colleges if they don't protect freedom of speech. In fact, Donald Trump has gone out of his way to make sure that all Americans have the freedom of speech. All U.S. citizens do. Was there a recent time where a Democrat came on campus and just had an open mic where anyone could disagree with them? Are you aware of that kind of an event?
No, this is like one of the first events I've seen.
No, thank you. So the point is it the MAGA movement, like myself, or Democrats that are inviting discourse and speech to try to find common ground?
Well, I feel that you yourself, Charlie, is a person that invites criticism and stuff.
Thank you for that.
This type of stuff I like.
How many of you students out there feel as if you'd be graded differently if you come out as a conservative or a Trump supporter? Raise your hand. Look around. Every hand goes up. And so that is the cultural left on Michigan State's campus that will use power to punish a student with their grades because they have different views. That's fascism. That is definitional fascism. And I'm not saying you're defending that. But I want to make sure you're consistent that there are fascistic tendencies more so on the left than anywhere on the right. That's my point, is that campuses, because they're so homogeneously to the left, that even if you go to Alabama, the same thing happens. It's not a red state or blue state issue. It's that these campuses are super, super far to the left as a posture of just ideological diversity.
It's 12:01 Eastern time on Inauguration Day, January 20th. Highlight some of the day one, second one, minute one, whatever it may be, actions that are on top of your ideal to-do list. I imagine we're pretty aligned on this one.
Yeah, again, I'll speak openly, not to get you in trouble here, but get Ross.
I promise I don't prescribe to any of these things.
Yes, of course.
I would never. I'm very milquetoast and moderate in my views.
Yes. Get Ross Ulbricht out of prison. It's a promise that the president made publicly that needs to be done on minute one, day one. I know of tons of libertarians in my social media feed, hundreds of thousands, in fact, that say they voted for the president because of the Ross Ulbricht promise. That young man needs to get out of prison.
Oh, I did find my godly man, and we are making more babies. My question for you is, we want to have a lot of kids, and I'm wondering what your best advice is for young couples with small children on how to prioritize and nurture their marriage amidst the busy day-to-day life of kids.
That's a very good question, because your marriage came first. And your husband is very important, because your kids, you're raising them to fly. You're raising them to leave the nest. They'll always come back. And once they do, I think that's why people get empty nest syndrome, because they look at their husband in an empty living room and they're like, who are you? I have to relearn you. You want to grow with your husband. That is going to be very acrobatic at times. Something that Charlie does that's really sweet that I love is that sometimes, especially when he's traveling, we figure out the dynamic of at least having a date night, at least once a month, at least. But there'll be moments where he's literally about to rush out the door and I won't see him for several days. Kids are wreaking havoc in the kitchen, pulling things out all over. And he just grabs me and he's like, 1 minute. And we just literally stare at each other for a minute and say, like, I love you, whatever you need to say. But we have that 1 minute together to reset our hearts. And honestly, that is something that helps recharge the bucket until you get that date night. So just being really intentional about little moments that will build into a greater good for the relationship.
What advice do you have for me as I move into adulthood in order to become a more informed and involved citizen?
Well, first of all, thank you for being here. And I have hope thanks to people like you. How old are you again?
13.
13. Here's a couple things I want to encourage you to do. Learn something new every single day. And focus on what it means to be a good person and a person of strong character. Aristotle said that courage is the ultimate virtue. Without it, there are no other virtues. If people aren't courageous, you don't have honesty. You don't have justice. You don't have beauty. You don't have wonder. And so at age 13, I want you to commit yourself to a life of courage. Courage is doing the right thing when you don't know how it's going to work out. Courage is committing yourself to the correct course of action, regardless of the cost associated to it.
Every human being, I believe, is made in the image of the divine, is sacred, is unique. And if we get away from this principle as we have, we not only have moral degradation, we not only have the collapsing society around us, but it's bad for that being itself. That being itself is unique. That being has rights. And who are we to say, just because we're older, that we get to murder it? Thank you.
fast.
That is not that.